As kids, most of us grew up watching, and let's face it, rewatching, our favourite Disney movies. Whether you loved the princesses, the animals, the heroes, or the Pixar films, we can all agree these movies are great because they're full of heart, magic, and illusions. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start over. Hold on, way too far. How about this? Watch these clips from popular Disney movies to see what they have in common.
But soft, what light through yonder window breaks?
Romeo, oh Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo?
I can take off my head to recite Shakespearean quotations.
I've started talking to the pictures on the walls. Hang in there, Joan.
Caesar salad. At du brute? Nope.
Each of these clips is an example of illusion. But what is illusion, you ask? Well, illusion is a brief and indirect reference to something with historical, cultural, literary, or political significance. We encounter illusion every single day in the books we read and the TV shows or movies that we watch. So looking at one of our previous examples more closely, when Jack Skellington sings about quoting Shakespeare while holding his skull, he is more specifically referencing this famous scene from Hamlet. In literature, some of the more common sources writers allude to are mythology, religion, literature, especially Shakespeare, and pop culture. So at this point, you might be asking yourself,
Why should I worry? Why should I care?
so we know what illusions are, but why do we use them? Why is it important to know about them? Whenever someone makes an illusion, they invoke the ideas and emotions associated with the original source. It gets a point across in a more creative way that can often take less time than explaining the whole idea from scratch. So for example, if someone were to say, "I'm surprised his nose didn't grow like Pinocchio's," you understand what the speaker really means if you are familiar with the story of Pinocchio. His nose only grows when he lies, and so the subject of the sentence must also be lying. Our understanding is enhanced by the illusion. Another common way authors use illusion is when naming their characters. A really great example of this is in Disney's The Aristocats. The three kittens are not just cute and fluffy, they are named after famous figures from French history. The musical Black Kitten, Berlioz, is named after the famous French composer Hector Berlioz. The autistic ginger kitten, Toulouse, is named after the famous French artist Toulouse-Lautrec. And finally, the fancy white kitten, Marie, is named after France's most famous queen, Marie Antoinette. The filmmakers want us to associate the kittens with the historical and cultural figures they're named after. So these illusions help us to understand each kitten's personality and talents a little better. So, what if you don't know anything about French history? What if you have no idea what an illusion is referencing? What if you just don't get it? Well, the word illusion comes from the Latin word for to play with or jest. Think of illusion as an inside joke. If you understand, great. If you don't, it's not a big deal. Disney movies are full of illusions that went over your head as a kid. You didn't enjoy these movies any less just because you didn't understand the reference. Think about illusions in literature the same way. If you think an author is making an illusion you don't understand, look it up. And if you don't notice it at all, you can still understand the work without it. Just keep an eye out and you'll be fine.